everybody, and welcome to the Fandom Flux podcast, episode
77?
I don't know.
I think it's 76. I think.
Yeah, 76.
The episode that Santa Claus forgot.
Sure. Whatever. Who cares? I'm your host, KCW. I'm good at it for everything else, but remembering the episode numbers, I swear. And we also have Slicer.
Hello.
Zero.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Yeah.
Let's sort of tape it off at the end there. And Kenshi.
Hi, I'm Kenshi618, and Hot Pockets are painfully delicious.
We heard you screaming, so yeah.
I was worried for a second that it was laugh screaming, so I was okay with it.
Yeah. I thought you just slammed your toe into your desk, which is something I do constantly.
No, I'm more coordinated than that.
La-di-da.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do that either, but that's mostly because my desk is big and spacious. However, I do end up digging a hole in the wall with my toe, and it's getting bigger, and I should probably seal that or something.
Or stop.
Or just seal it, then I can't do it anymore.
Oh, well, alright.
I think the hole was there originally, but I'm not making it any better. That's the thing.
Yeah. Anyway, the filling of Hot Pockets, when done right, is like lava. So, and it got all over my face, which hurt. So, yeah.
Yeah, Slicer has a strange opinion of what Hot Pockets are. He seems to think they shouldn't be hot.
You just wait till they're not painful to eat. They can still be hot.
The clue is in the name.
It takes out the fun of it. It's not a Hot Pocket if you don't lose taste buds every time you bite into one.
No, it's called a lukewarm pocket. Or a tip pocket.
You see, I'm always used to eating things when they're really hot immediately when they come out, and it's gotten to the point where I don't eat Hot Pockets. We have Lean Pockets at my house, because we're apparently skinnier, even though, yeah, we're a more healthy family. And so my method for eating a Lean Pocket when it comes straight out is I turn it upside down. And that way, when I eat it, all the stuff tends to not go straight onto my tongue. And I have strategies.
Eating strategies.
Yeah.
Okay. So, naturally, we've pretty much jumped into the first topic, which is what we're doing, as always. So, what are we doing? Slicer.
Alright. So I got Honey Pop. That was a fun 12 hours.
Honey Pop again.
Yeah. I marathoned that game. Absolutely. It was like 12 hours. Fun.
I saw that you were looking up videos on how to uncensor it.
Yeah, I just Googled it and YouTube was the first one. And
entirely unnecessary. The first update on the fucking game page on Steam is how to uncensor the game.
You mean Steam that doesn't work on my connection? It's really slow.
Oh, yeah. Fair cop, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also not linking that video either, so just so you know.
But,
by the way, just to interrupt you for a second,
mm-hmm.
I absolutely do get why Steam, censored that, or asked for it to be censored.
Oh, yeah.
That totally makes sense. I can get that.
They do have rules against
censor?
that.
Yeah. Sorry?
What did they censor?
What do you think what they censored?
There's no way they censored anything.
Yeah, they did. There were some scenes where underwear was not supposed to be on at all.
Yeah, you're right.
I did tell you about the whole girl holding herself open, basically, thing, right?
Yeah.
It's obvious in a lot of other situations as well.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's underwear on it, so that means there's less. I'm probably still going to put a censor thing there anyways.
There is no underwear on it in the fucking uncensored version.
You know what, though? We are trying to be child appropriate here at Fandom Flux.
Really?
No, we're not.
Just trying to not get kicked off YouTube. That's it.
Yeah. So I totally get why Steam wanted that to happen, and it's still a step up from, getting San Andreas banned and turned to AO rating just because there was the potential of having, what was it, hot coffee?
Yeah.
That was the thing? Yeah.
Still
Oh god, no, pixelated tits. Who cares?
Oh, well. But I discovered something interesting about myself. I suck at puzzle games.
Yeah, you do.
The
So
forethought
does Zero.
required to do that.
Hey. Zero got much better. All right?
Yeah.
I have yet to see that.
I'm gonna upload it today. You will see it, or rather Tuesday is when we start the next thing. So last Tuesday when this comes out, and you will see I have improved.
So many 4 and 5 in a row that you missed.
I know. I'm watching it back, and I'm like, why do I suck so much?
Because
It was embarrassing.
he goes too fast. He doesn't even look.
That's not true. I watched you stop and think about it while there was 2 4 in a rows on the screen. 2.
The problem is the screen. Like when I have it, it fills up pretty much my whole screen, and I get distracted by bright colors very easily. Very easily.
The entire screen is made of bright colors.
Exactly. Do you understand how hard this is?
That's an interesting way to defend yourself.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
My friends have made that joke about me before. I've been talking on the phone and I see squirrel. I'm like, squirrel! Okay? Gosh. Give me a break.
So, Slicer,
Right.
you were saying...
I got in a whole one sentence before I was interrupted. Anyway, this is a podcast. That was exactly the problem for me, actually. When the sex happened, I was great at it. I could find matches easily.
Oh, I was so great at that.
But finding high point value matches, not something I'm good at. For the last 6, 7 dates, I actually had to crank it down to easy.
Really? I haven't changed
There's a
difficulty at all.
difficulty mode in that?
Yeah. You can. It just adjusts the points that you need. That's it.
Oh.
So I needed like 700 less points, and by the time I finished the game, I was back up to where I was stuck at points value wise. So it took 5 tries I think to get the last 8 for Q.
Just farm decent gifts until you get the game-breaking items.
Yeah.
We got game-breaking items.
Also, I didn't know how to get gifts for most of the game. So I was just using the bear.
You sent me a message on Skype, and then you were like, never mind, I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened.
Am I the only one that grasped this game?
I got most of it. It was just that part I didn't get.
Well, I guess God had to give you something back in exchange for Hand of Fate.
Fuck you, Ken. Come on. That was not a fair run, and you know it.
It wasn't.
Yes, I fucked up initially, but like 4 max health reduction cards in a row. 4.
You gotta be skilled enough so that you can do it without getting hit.
That's pretty much what I said, and I said I'm not that skilled, but it usually takes a lot longer to get to that point where it just
Play
fucks you over.
more Batman, gosh darn it. That's where all the skill comes from.
It's not quite that refined.
Yeah,
gameplay
probably
wise.
not.
So
we're just giving you a hard time because you've been doing it. So we got a chance here.
no, you don't. Mine was literally random. Yours was just you.
It's RNG in there, you know.
It is.
Also, I was not playing, so...
No, Ken's sort of safe. He could have told you, but you... No. Ken shares partial blame. Zero gets most of it.
Well, you know what? I did better, and you're gonna see it.
Yeah, you say so.
This is Phil Slicer's What Is He Doing?
Yeah, it's going on a while to get past the first thing on a list of 5.
Go ahead.
Right, moving on so we don't get distracted from that more. I also got The Forest, little alpha game. It's pretty fun. It's just, 1, combat is clunky as all hell. And 2, bows are absolute shit. I cannot hit anything if I'm not standing 2 feet in front of it. Literally. Sucks. They're powerful though, so they kill things in 2 hits as opposed to, 9 swings of the axe you get. It kinda sucks. One problem I ran into was, once I built my impenetrable fortress, because that's what I do, there wasn't much to do. So, you can't rescue your son, because that part of the game isn't added yet, I assume. I keep running into walls where it says this part of the game isn't in this build, or whatever. And, I ran into a problem building my fortress is the log sled, because you can only carry 2 logs, and the log sled carries 7, which is very good. If you press the wrong buttons, you get stuck on the sled and you fall backwards through the world. And you can't do anything to fix it. So you just...
That sounds like the best sled ride ever.
It kind of is, yeah. So, yeah, you just have to load your file at that point. You don't just hit the ground and start in a cave like it would with a normal death. You just fall forever. So that was my experience with the game. Not sure that's worth $15. So if you want to get it, maybe wait for a sale. At the moment,
I'd say not, but that's just me.
Yeah. In its current state,
It's another Minecraft clone, by other means. It's, whatever.
Sort of, yeah, pretty much. Next, I was pretty unsatisfied with both of those games. Honey Pop was fun, but it didn't last very long, and it got repetitive quick. So I moved on to Rust, which I've owned for probably more than a year now, and have put up with several 100-megabyte updates, which take forever for me. But I've never actually played it again after a while. So I decided to. I booted it up, and it gave me the option to play New Rust or Old Rust. That was confusing, so I just selected New Rust and joined it, I think an empty server. It had like 2 people or something like that. And I spent half an hour searching for a single animal. They haven't really done much with the new version yet. I assume it's new. Very new. So it's not functional, really. So I played Old Rust, and that worked just fine, but apparently they took out zombies for some stupid reason, and just added mutated animals.
I remember that.
Which is just regular animals, only they have glowing red symbol things on them. That's about it. Or they're bloody looking, or I don't know. So I had some fun murdering people, because there were a few people on the server. That's what I do. I'm polite in the chat, and then I just shoot people on the site, which is great.
That is how everyone acts in Rust, unless you're role-playing.
Yeah. And then I ran across a guy who just started flying. What he did. He just jumped, and then he kept going. And then he talked, and it was this little Australian kid. Or Austrian? I don't know. It was weird. And he had friends, and then they kept giving me stuff, and yeah. Apparently they claimed to be anti-hackers, and which made sense, because the second they left the server, I got aimbotted from across the map. Yeah, that kind of sucked. But by that point, I'd been playing for like 6 hours, so I had my fun. Again, good game, really not finished. Needs more updates.
Has needed more updates for what, 2 years?
The old version is a functional game, and it is fun. It's just that you get to a point where it's like you need several hours to progress, and it gets tedious. Next, I don't know if anybody is a fan or they were following the story, but Harry Potter and the Wand of Uru, I think it's called. Finally got
Never heard of it.
Yeah. I forget what it's. There was a challenge put out by Silver Aegis, I guess. Something like that.
Aegis.
That's whatever. And so, yeah, Harry goes back in time, sort of, unintentionally, and winds up in a world where his family survives, and he's, like, the middle child of 4 siblings or something like that. Or the oldest. I don't know. It's different in every rewrite because it's a challenge. But that was rewritten, again, by the author. A lot of stuff was changed, and I didn't find a lot of it very good. And so I wrote a review about it. It was pretty critical. Not really a flame, but caustic in places, I'll admit. I don't take disappointment well. Anyway, so as all of my long reviews like that when the author replies to me do, eventually me and the author just started talking in a civil fashion about everything. And so that's been happening. I'm confused by it. And
Not all of them happen like that, obviously.
Sort of. It's weird. I can utterly hate people, and we just start talking. My politeness is my Achilles heel, or something to that effect.
Yeah. I've started feeling like I should just sign out of my account and message CPL or review one of his stories and say, hey, maybe we should bury the hatchet so I can actually talk about your stories without sounding like a complete dickhead and someone that really needs to let go of a grudge. So, I should probably do that.
I guess. I'm spiteful enough that I like that. I like that about myself, that I have grudges. It's interesting to me.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Lastly, what's it called? I think it's
I don't know. You tell me.
It's a familiar of Zero Fic, Stupid Devil Dog, I think it is.
Oh, yeah. I remember
That would be the one where he's military, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I feel
that
like I
updated
recommended that before, but
a week and a half ago or something like that. And so I just reread the whole thing. And so that put me in a the familiar of Zero mood. As most stories do. I've found that I have a weird affinity for that series, I guess. I like the characters, I like the setting, I like what happens and all that. It's not terribly original, but I like it. The only problem is I just want the characters to fuck. That's the only thing the story's missing.
you know what? You can write it.
I know, that's what I'm doing. I have the basic
Really?
timeline right now for, I don't know, the first 2 days of the story. So yeah. And that's my
Doesn't
week.
fuck around.
Yeah, oh, I think he does.
No, he doesn't. He just wishes the characters do.
Yeah.
What are you going to call it?
I don't have a name. I can't name
Just
it.
fuck already.
Yeah. That was actually what I had in my notes. It was familiar.
I'm going to type it, but I can't say it.
We are two in sync. I don't like that we're this in sync.
Yeah. This is the title I recommend. Oh, it's in the chat real quick.
Can't say it.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
typed it to say it, Zero. Come on,
I
say
can't
it.
say it. I can't.
Say it.
You typed it, you
Yeah.
have to say it.
I
It's not
can't
a
say it.
swear word, it's an activity in this sense.
I'm not, no.
Typing it counts as saying it, Zero.
I'm typing it so that you guys can say it.
Right.
Well, I guess it's
I
not
can't-
going to be said then.
Did I say it, or...
I guess it's not going to be said then if Zero isn't going to say it himself. That's unfortunate.
Well, alright, yeah. Viewers,
You guys
don't
can
bother
push me to say whatever. You guys can push me to say a lot of words, but I'm not going to say that word.
Audience is going to be so disappointed.
It's familiar of F word, okay? Gosh.
There
Good
you
en-
go. Close enough.
Good enough. That's the best we're going to get.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Lisa?
Nope, that's my week. That's it.
Okay. Zero, since we just tormented you for a little bit, you go next.
Alright, so, my dad's been playing Dying Light.
Light, okay.
So he likes to call me whenever there's something major like combat or something really that he can't handle, because he's used to playing the slower zombie games. So, you know, we were stuck. He was stuck at this one point where they were using the sewers, and he went and he swam, and he got to this one place, and it's like, I can't go anywhere. How do I get through this? And I'm like, let me mess with the game a little bit. So,
oh my god, hold on. Your dad calls you to beat games for him?
He calls me to help him at certain parts that he gets stuck with.
Mine used to do that too.
I used to call my dad to help me with games, but now it can be difficult with the newer games, right? So I go up there, and what it is there's water, and we're in the water, and there's a bridge above head, and you can climb in that game and free run and whatnot, but it's like all barred up and everything. It looks like there's a little bit of room if you climb up there, but you can't really climb up there because it's a small space. So my first reaction to this is I'm going to climb up to this one part where I can kind of walk along the edge of the wall if I hold the button in if I hold the directional that way, and then I try to crouch jump. What I ended up doing was I crouched in midair, and so my height was like at the correct amount for me to grab onto the thing. And I was like, okay, what do I do now? So I pulled myself up, and then I left the world.
Wow.
You broke the game.
You broke the world. Great.
And next thing I know, I'm in the middle of infinite sky, and I'm just falling. And I'm like, Dad, I broke it.
In fairness, you beat the game for him. You escaped the zombie invasion, incursion, whatever it is. I don't really know the plot of Dying Light.
You're not trying to escape. You go in there on purpose. because you have a mission. But
Yeah, it's not so much escaping as it is gathering something, I think. I don't know.
you have to take out a guy, I think. Something like
that's
that.
it.
In a zombie situation, I'm pretty sure that problem would solve itself.
Except when he's a leader with tons of guns around him. And tons of people.
When has a zombie survival movie ever seen that work out well?
Well, apparently in this game it doesn't, because my dad got a gun and we were just going through the guy's compound and just shooting everybody. But yeah, I broke through it and I was just falling and I was like, Dad, this is how you play video games. And I felt really proud of myself. And then we kept falling until we ended up somehow at the back of the start of the area.
Well, that fixes the problem, I guess.
We ended up back there, but it's like we didn't die or anything. We just landed there, perfectly fine. So, yeah, crouch jumping breaks games. Also, played Honey Pop with Kenshi.
Yep.
I've said this before, but I have noticed a significant increase in my abilities. And I'm going to be uploading that later. We've already talked enough about Honey Pop.
Mm-hmm.
It was my birthday on Monday. I turned 20 years old. I am now a man.
No, you're not.
Happy birthday. Thank you very much.
Also, my boss has the same birthday as me.
Huh.
I think you've mentioned it's still creepy.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, for your 21st birthday, you gonna go out drinking with me? I'm like, sure. In the back of my mind, I'm like,
why?
In the back of my mind,
why would you say that? Why
in
would
the
you
back
ever
of my
say
mind,
that?
In the back of my mind, I'm thinking two things. One, I'm not gonna be around here that long. Two, I'm gonna go drink water. Go drinking.
Good save.
I'm gonna
Good
drink
save.
water. Because, yeah. I'm never going to drink alcohol, even when I'm 21, because I don't like what it does to your body. And
It's not great.
yeah,
You get man tits.
but yeah. So it was happy birthday. I got a new phone. My parents said this is the last phone we're going to get you. So it's an iPhone 6. 64 gigabyte. It's pretty nice, considering my last phone was... The camera didn't work on my last phone, and it would sometimes shut off at 20% power, and just say, hey, it's dead.
That's not good.
So, yeah. I mean, my previous phone didn't have a scratch on it, so I was able to get maximum trade-in value for that, which was $30. But, hey, every little bit helps. I'm really liking it. Big screen, able to, it has a touch sensor, right? On the home button. To unlock my phone, I just have to put my thumb on it. I don't have to put in my password.
Yeah, but
Great. People can steal that shit.
So to break into Zero's phone, I can cut his hand off.
don't really need to be that extreme, but I'm not going to stop you if you want to.
But, I'm never going to let this thing out of my sight, because it's probably going to, if I do, it will get stolen. Without a doubt. I was really happy about that. That was pretty much my only present. But my brother, he was like, hey, I got you something. So he got me, the first thing he got me an action replay for the 3DS. I wasn't asking for it. In fact, he wanted it, but okay. I'll still
Those
take
are the
it.
greatest presents.
He's like, hey, now you can cheat at games. And I'm like, well, I don't do that anymore. He once had an action replay, and I had fun with it, but I'm not really going to... Okay, I'll just be happy for the fact that he's happy or whatever. My grandpa gave me a huge box of chocolates. He always gives us candy for everything. So that's always
give you
great.
Borderland porno.
That was my grandma on the other side of the family. Oh, no, she was on the same side of the family. They're divorced. So, and let's see. Yeah, my brother got me the action replay, and he got me gum.
Awesome.
Did you want the gum?
The gum was like I was more hyped for the gum. I was like, yeah, I like this gum. This is my favorite type of gum. I just like $3 at the two like more like $2 at the local store, but sure, I'll take it.
So let me get this straight. Your parents got you a phone and the message, you can buy your own shit now. Your brother got you a present that he wanted. And gum.
Sounds like my 20th birthday.
Yeah, pretty much me too.
Yeah. I bought myself something because I wanted it. I bought
Sounds
like
my 20th birthday.
I bought a Shulk amiibo, and this is really rare. I was able to get it because it's a GameStop exclusive and whatnot, and GameStop sucks for having exclusives. So what you do with an amiibo is you put it on your gamepad for Smash Brothers, and then you train it, and it learns your techniques and whatnot, and you upgrade it and stuff.
I'll link the amiibo thing, we know.
I'm calling him Ricky Jr., and he is terrifying. Like, my goodness. Okay, so I taunt after every time I killed him, so he'll kill me, and then he'll taunt. And, like, when I'm not doing anything...
Turned him into an asshole.
And when I'm not doing anything, I tend to, like, show up with, like, jumps and flips, and I just tend to be, like, sort of a jerk. He does that now. And just like me, he sometimes suicides while trying to showboat.
You turned the douchiest looking character into an absolute douchebag.
Yeah, I turned him into a douchebag. And he's so powerful, but at the same time, he beats you and then he spits on you. It's great. So, I put my brother against him. My brother was like, come on, what's up with this? He was struggling against him. He's like, it's like fighting you. And I'm like, I know. This
apparently.
Is my fun. He, like, this character, like, will beat me with most characters that I'm using. Because it's really good. It's basically taking the parts of me that aren't my best and combining them into one figure.
Except the parts where it kills itself.
Super Zero.
Yeah. I think he stopped the showboating after I went one round with Gandalf, but I just stood in the middle of the stage and just hit him every time he got close. No, I went to one stage where it was the Elden Bridge, right? And it's across the entire map. And immediately when he does, he runs to the side and he waits for me. Because he wants to throw me off the stage and get an easy kill. I'm like, come on, I didn't even do that. I think. Maybe. Ugh.
Okay, anything else, Cyril?
That's about it.
Okay. Ken.
Okay, see, here's the thing. My day-to-day life is more awesome than all of yours, but I've told you about all the things that I do on a day-to-day basis, so it gets repetitive. So basically nothing happened this week.
Except getting injured at pro wrestling practice.
Yes. Because because rings are hard. Did you know that?
Yes, they can be, yeah.
Yeah. I took a bump, which, I mean, I know how to fall. Like, I've been falling for my entire life. And I don't even know how it went wrong. But my shoulder's kind of messed up now. I can still do everything, but I'm feeling it. Also, my knee. I don't know what the fuck happened with that, but my knee's messed up too.
Their knees, they get messed up for everything.
But I didn't even do anything involving my knees that would hurt them.
Did you walk
Have
somewhere?
you had knee injuries before?
No, I've not. I've had one. I had a knee injury, but it's not on the knee that's actually hurt right now.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, because I had knee injury, went skiing, fell off a ski lift. I think I've told this story.
I believe so.
Yeah, twisted it, so it gets injured fairly easily, or it hurts on a fairly regular basis. So, but I thought it might be that, but I guess not.
Nah, it's the other one.
All right, my week. What did I do for my week? Dynasty Warriors finally came out. It's not so great.
Really?
There's some good things about it. It's pretty much the kind of Dynasty Warriors game that I wanted, which is do whatever the fuck you want, don't have to follow a set storyline. And try and take over China and stuff. Create character, all that good stuff, it's good. But it defaults to display as keyboard controls, and you can't change it. So you have to work out what all the controls do by trying to figure out what button corresponds to what.
Oh, yeah. Played games like that.
It's irksome. And apparently there's a few glitches in gameplay, like your troop value will go down to 0 in the middle of a battle for no adequately explained reason, stuff like that. So I'm holding off until they patch it a little bit.
Good course of action.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, it'll be good eventually, and if not, I can still play it. It's just not going to be as good as I wanted it to be. I also got Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Why?
You know what? I was actually going to get that, but, money.
Yeah. My reasoning was, I wanted to see how it would play for a non-fan. Because apparently this is quite a good version of the game. Well, a good version of the series of games, I guess. It's always the same thing. You play through the plot of Dragon Ball and stuff. This is supposed to be like the best interpretation of it in a long time.
I've played through almost all the Dragon Ball games, so yeah.
Yeah. So I played a little bit of it. It's pretty cool, actually. I mean, the opening has what I assume is the opening from Dragon Ball Z.
It's never the opening from Dragon Ball Z. It's always an original opening, probably.
It sounded familiar.
I'll check it out. It might, if you're talking about the song, then yeah, it might be.
I think it might be, to be honest with you, but I might be mistaken. Like I say, I didn't watch the show, but I do recognize the song as a theme from Dragon Ball something. It's actually pretty good. The gameplay is solid. It feels fun to play. The excuse plot is fine. The hub world, as is pretty much standard with Japanese games, for some reason is unnecessarily large. Like just big open spaces with nothing in it, so you have to spend 30 seconds running from one thing to another for no reason. It's a bit annoying.
Wait. The opening theme, or is it Chala Head Chala?
I don't know.
Chala Head Chala.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's a famous one. My brother loves that.
Okay. Yeah. It's a good tune. Not going to deny that. Yeah, so good. The basic conceit of this one is you create a character, I think it's Trunks, the time-traveling dude. Someone's messing up the timeline, so Trunks asks Shenron, he wishes with the Dragon Balls and says, hey, send someone who can help me kick ass and take names. So you create a character, and that is the character that is going to kick ass and take names. And you can be human, you can be Saiyan. I'm told that is apparently the correct pronunciation because it's a localized term. You could be Majin, I think is the term. The Boo race.
Well, it's not really. It wasn't really a race. It was more like.
Just
as far as DBZ games go, it's a race now. So yeah.
Yeah. Or you could be a Namekian, or you could be one of Frieza's species, I guess.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. And you can do side quests and level up, and you can get characters' outfits and stuff. You could dress up as...
This sounds actually really awesome. I'm liking it.
It is pretty cool, and I'm enjoying it. Even as someone that isn't a fan of Dragon Ball, I'm finding it quite fun.
Considering my the last Dragon Ball game I had was just flying around and doing fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
The one you got to fly around the world map. So you got that you got that.
Is that the one where you were flying around on the cloud thing?
You could.
The whole game.
You could go on the cloud, and then to learn moves and stuff, you had to choose trainers or something.
Oh, that one. Fuck.
Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it was just like, hey, you can unlock good trainers later on, but to get their moves, you have to beat them a lot.
Like 10 times.
It was.
I don't think there's anything like that. There's shops so you can buy skills and you can buy clothing.
That's good. There wasn't a shop. There was no shops like that.
And you had to be a
or
Saiyan.
you can do the side quest, and it's basically just random drops. So you do a side quest where you're fighting. I think it's what was the first Raditz? I think it was.
Raditz,
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah, and you fight him, and you can learn Double Sunday. I think it was
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get items, and it's basically a loot table. So you beat someone, you get an item, maybe.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
nice.
item related to them or just completely random?
Usually it's related to them, sometimes it's a little bit random. Like you can do the World Tournament thing from the original Dragon Ball, and you can get Chi-Chi's outfit for some reason. When you're fighting Tien, Yamcha, and Krillin.
That's pretty weird, but
I want to buy this. I want to buy this game.
I've only
Yeah,
heard good things about it. So
Yeah. Cool thing too, in the side quests, you fight certain characters, and then after you finish, there is a random chance of a stronger character showing up. So, like in the World Tournament one, you fight those three, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and if you win, then Piccolo shows up. And if you kill him, you get bonuses and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a lot tougher. So,
But,
it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it a great
I'm going
deal.
to buy the shit out of this later.
I want to buy this now. Like, this seems like a legitimately cool game.
So yeah, I'm probably going to do a video on it. I spent about 3 hours playing it. It's pretty cool. What else did I do? I am getting surprisingly annoyed by my council for not replacing the bin that's been broken for the past 3 months. Yeah, I don't know whether you have that in your country, where basically a local council provides separate bins for recycling and what's the term for things that can decompose and turn into fertilizer and stuff?
Compost.
Sure, that stuff, so it's like paper stuff. And one for just regular trash. And my trash bin has been broken since I moved in. And I rang up and said, hey, could you replace this? And they said, yeah, we'll get someone around eventually. And then I said, great, thanks for making me wait 10 minutes on hold and taking up all my credit. And then they hung up on me. So that was polite. On both parts, but, still. Christ. But they still haven't done it. So, my kitchen bin, which is the only bin I have, is full, and I can't do anything, because the bin that's outside, it's just going to fall apart if I put anything in it, so...
that sounds like you should just put stuff in it and then have it fall apart.
But then it's his responsibility.
Yeah. So, I'm stuck, so I need to ring them again. It's annoying.
Right.
Spend more money. Oh, and the Patreon thing. We finally managed to make a payout on that.
Yay!
When I got that.
Everyone got about $30, I got about 20 quid. Most of which went towards telling the government, hey, I'm earning money now.
Is that going to happen
Yep.
every time?
Just the first time, I think.
Oh, that's good.
From now on, I have to print out everything I'm earning, which is the transaction going in, and then the 3 transactions going out for when I send the money to you guys.
Yay, Matt.
Yeah.
Finance.
But that's finally sorted out, so we can actually start getting regular donations actually coming out. It's nice.
Yeah.
Extra
is,
money,
actually.
we really appreciate it. And we actually need to do the shout-outs at the end of this episode, so I'm going to add that to the topic list.
Oops.
Yeah, just, I spent years searching for a job, so, I have $30 that I got from something I did. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
It is very much a nice feeling to say, I earned this money. And it's like, yeah, I'm contributing to the world. I am a positive force in the world, rather than just sucking up money from the government all the time, which is not a nice feeling. Dragon Ball needs to go in the fucking link dump.
My memory bank to buy later when I go out.
I was gonna talk about something else that I was doing and I've forgotten what it was. Oh yeah, I bought Fable Anniversary at some point. I've been playing that.
Oh, I bought that a while ago.
Yeah. Still a good game.
Yeah, it's good that now that when I play it, I don't have a character whose eyes are just kind of golden and have no pupils, which I had.
I have one big problem with it. The protagonist looks strangely like Charlie Sheen.
Why is that a problem?
That's weird.
He's got tiger's blood in him, man.
Apparently that's what being a hero means, tiger blood.
Don't you understand? All heroes are rock stars on Mars.
Yeah, he's my hero.
I was tempted to just do like a 5-second video of him doing a thumbs up or a hero pose or something, and then just splice in Charlie Sheen saying "winning," because.
I'll do that.
Winning.
Sounds funny.
God damn it! But the thing is, he has the same face throughout the whole game, including the segment where you're a child.
That's weird.
It's really creepy.
Because he's got tiger's blood.
I think you mispronounced awesome.
It's not awesome. It's really, really creepy. And your sister isn't as hot in this one, which is unfortunate.
Oh.
Oh well.
Wait, is it Rose or is it a different character?
It's Teresa.
Yeah, it's
This is anniversary. This is the first one.
Oh. It's been years, probably over a decade easily, since I played the first Fable.
Yeah. In hindsight, it makes sense that she is a colossal bitch and powermonger in the second one, considering, she was raised by bandits, basically.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I like her as a character in the second one forward at all, but, that's the thing. Anyway. I think that's everything.
Right.
I think. Oh! I'm an idiot. I literally spent like 20 minutes making everyone wait while I read this bloody thing. Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. It's a surprisingly famous fanfiction, written by Les Wrong, that took Harry Potter and took it very, very seriously.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's very much about rationality and rationalism as far as a way of life. And the author did something very interesting to end it. Basically, put the protagonist, naturally Harry, in what's basically an unwinnable situation. All of his powers have been stripped away from him. He is literally naked. He has no wand. And he is bound by a vow that means he can't do anything to do anything, basically. And is held at one point by like 50 dudes. And then the author decided, okay, solve. And told his audience to figure out a way out of it. Gave them a time limit of 3 days, and said, if you can't do it, you will get a bad ending.
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't know. I feel like this is a very Space Battles thing to do.
Yeah, seems like it.
This is the kind of thing I feel like they would do to their audience. Just say, solve. And Space Battles would jump on that shit. They would be all over trying to solve that kind of problem. Surprisingly enough, the fanfiction community did the same thing, and I guess they got it right. Or they got a solution that worked.
I kind of just want to know what the solution is.
Well, the way that he explained it was, you can use any solution as long as it has already been established in the story.
Oh.
So, Harry without a wand, I think he's without a wand, I believe, is able to... It's transfiguration, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
In Harry Potter. Transfigure spider silk, just basically conjure it, just a nanometer thick, and then just extend it around every single one of his enemies' heads, around the necks, and around Voldemort's hands, who is also, doing stuff. And then turning it into, I don't know, fucking Teflon or some other super strong substance. And then constricting it.
Ah!
Makes sense. He wouldn't be the one killing them. They'd be pretty much strangling themselves, because they'd be pulling and it'd pull the other people.
Basically, yeah. So, that's a solution, certainly. The as far as the experiment itself goes, for getting people to think rationally and try and figure out solutions to very complex and restrictive problems, pretty much worked. Kudos to the audience. They actually came up with a good way to do it. Or whoever managed to do it. I don't know whether there was discussion going on or anything, but someone came up with a good one. And it's an interesting thing for a fan fiction to do, to get the audience that involved in it. As far as I'm aware, fanfiction.net does not allow choose-your-own-adventure style stories.
They definitely don't.
Not really.
Yeah. They don't like that sort of thing. You can have a poll to say, hey, how should this story go? Should I go this way or this way? Occasionally, but as a general rule, they don't like it. They don't like doing that. But I don't know. I really like the way that the author's done this. It's very strange and unique, and it's definitely not something I've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool, and I wanted to mention it while we were doing the podcast, since it literally just went up as we were recording.
Mm-hmm. So that fic is officially finished now?
I think it is getting to its last chapters.
Ah.
Like, there's probably an epilogue or something going on at the end of it. But for all intents and purposes, the antagonist is defeated and stuff.
Yay.
So, yes. Yeah, so I admit I missed most of that fic and literally jumped in right at the end, but I'm glad I did, just for this interesting turn that has taken, that the writers turned it on the audience.
Event, scenario, that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. That's pretty much my week, I think. Oh, yeah, and I realized that I really should be writing when I'm doing nothing but watching Prince of Tennis, because that is a really stupid show to watch.
Yes, it is. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I watched it once and thought it was okay. And then I went back and watched it again because I don't know.
Your standards are really low and it's something to do?
Because I was that bored, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I say, I really need to do some writing to actually get something done other than that, because it's such a fucking waste of time. So many better things I could be doing. So yeah. That's my week. So, first topic. Well, second topic, because first topic is what we're doing. So, second topic is the subconscious. And since Zero wanted to talk about this, he can open us up for this one. So Zero.
You're writing a character, and based on their background, based on their personality, they may react ways that they're not, or they may react ways or take information in a way that they're themselves are not fully aware of at the moment. And to do this, to actually, because this is realistic, you're going to respond to information differently based on things, and due to your subconscious, you're going to subconsciously react to something, or, in different ways. So this really involves knowing your characters. And
knowing your characters on multiple levels, because there is the conscious, obviously, there is how they would react to it if they were entirely rational, or all that, yeah. And then there is the subconscious, how they would react without even realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the slight undercurrents of thought that you don't really pay attention to in your day-to-day life unless you are ridiculously self-aware.
Yeah, and most characters are not that self-aware.
Much as some authors would like them to be.
So this can be actions that they do in response to things, just absent-mindedly, or other things. It's a great way that you can use this to develop sort of tells for when people are lying. For example, this character always does this when they are lying. It's a subconscious act, and you can use them. Like for example, in Tokyo Ghoul, the main character Kaneki, it is established that he touches his chin whenever he's lying, and that gets established, right? So whenever he touches his chin in the manga, you're like, oh, he's lying, because you have that established, and you can actually get a deeper insight into what the character is thinking without having to use too many words. Making it a very cool tool, one that I haven't been able to use so much. But, it's definitely requires a lot of deep thinking into your character.
And even even at its most basic, the subconscious is an interesting tool for getting your characters to act in ways that they don't want to act.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, at its most basic example is, I want to go save this person, but that would mean putting myself in danger.
Yes.
So, conscious, I want to go save this person. Subconscious, I don't want to die.
Like, we all like to think that we're good people and that we're always going to do something, but looking at numerous social experiments, isn't always the case.
That's not true, yeah.
For example, there was one social experiment where they recreated a sort of prison, and they assigned people as prisoners and guards. And over time, those guards became really abusive. They were nice people before. They just enjoyed it. And you can do that with, you interpret it how you wish. There was another experiment, I don't remember the name of it. I think it was the Milgram. It was where they had somebody come into a room. They're like, okay, you push this button. This is just testing this person. Ask these questions and then push this button. It'll give them a minor electric shock. If they're wrong, and it'll turn the water.
Yeah, I've talked about this experiment before, and basically the person at the other end of that they're observing is an actor.
Yes.
And at some certain point, they will act like they are in severe pain, and the experiment was to see whether people would actually say stop, or whether they would stop and go against what they're being told to do.
The interesting thing is that this revealed, it depended on a variety of factors, whether somebody else was in the room or not. Like, if the actual scientist was in the room with them, they were less likely to stop themselves. But if they were in another room, it would be easy to say, hey, screw you, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah. If memory serves, the actual final results were, I think, 26 people out of 40 pretty much went along with it. Another 11 decided, I'm not going to be a part of this. And 3 out of 40 actually went out of their way to try and stop it.
Yeah. And some people were actually kept pushing the button until it was past the point where it would have actually killed a person if it was real.
And they knew about it.
And they kept saying, hey, does it go any higher? Some people were actually like that. Yes.
Yeah.
So people react.
There were special settings that were specifically marked as being dangerous, and the participants knew full well that they were dangerous, but either they would continue because someone was telling them to, or they would continue because they wanted to.
Yes.
But they continued regardless.
And this is a really interesting concept to work into stories. Because you can write your character to be a hero all they want, but when it comes down to it, will they really value their life less than somebody else's? Or rather value the value of saving somebody else more than their own life?
I'd say it's kind of cheating in that respect.
Generally speaking, the hierarchy of how people see the importance of other people is self, family, friends, local people, people in the city, people in the general region, people in the country, then maybe humanity as a whole. People will put themselves and those close to them first.
Yes.
It is actually quite rare to see people put others above themselves, or put others above their own family and friends.
Yes. And you have to also bring into that question of why they're doing it. Because it's not always subconsciously you're thinking, whatever you're thinking, I can save this person because they're important to me, or I can save this person because they'll be useful. And it's interesting to note when the subconscious conflicts with the thoughts of the conscious, and they try to justify that. So definitely something that, as you're writing, you should consider, especially when put into stressful situations, but more than that, just in everyday life. Like, do they have habits that they subconsciously do?
And that's another level to the story, I think. And it's entirely up to the author whether they, make light of it in the story, whether it's made absolutely clear what how the subconscious is working. or whether they just leave it ambiguous and just let the audience figure it out for themselves. Like, you used the example of someone having a tell when they're lying.
Yeah.
Now, you could do it, as you said, they establish it very clearly that that means they're lying. Or you could have the audience try and work it out for themselves.
That's another approach. Like, especially, like, even if the lie is actually obvious and they do that on multiple occasions, be like, oh, okay, that's actually kind of cool. Because you put thought into it. You know, likewise, other habits would be, for example, when somebody's leaning against a wall, what do? Do they go next to that person? Do they lean up against the wall too? Or are they the type of person to sit on the ground? You know, what sort of habits do they take? And that really helps to characterize your characters. So small things matter.
Yeah. Like, as your example, leaning against the wall, if someone outright refuses to do that, then that usually indicates they are somewhat proud. They don't want to lean on things. They want to stand straight and tall on their own. If someone, say, like you said, sat on the ground instead, they might be someone that's more laid back, just relax, just go at your own pace kind of person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of body language that people don't tend to think about.
Especially when writing.
It's just taken as a given. But in a written medium, it helps to incorporate that to make your characters feel more whole, rather than just a string of sentences put together. You can say a lot more with actions than you can with words, they say. And it's not just you need to do something. That's not what the phrase means. It means actions, how people are acting, says a lot more than just the actual words that they're saying.
Like we talked,
It's much more
I was in drama for about 6 years. I was in a theater class for about 6 years. And while I was there, you know, you get into the character, and to really get into character, you have to learn that every single movement has some sort of motivation behind it, whether you're conscious of it or unconscious of it, or unconscious of it, rather, for lack of a better word. Whether you don't know what's happening, every movement, every step you take, it has some sort of meaning or motivation behind it. And that's something you have to consider when writing, because it can actually greatly help with the depth and actually be used to convey certain things that you can't just outright say.
Also, it should be mentioned that your body can be really stupid sometimes. Your subconscious is not always looking out for your best interests. Like, sometimes it reacts really poorly, and you do stupid things. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but yeah.
I don't know, like running to
Sometimes
a
to
giant
get away
robot
from
you can't
fire, you
beat.
jump off the bridge, so to speak.
For example, you bump into a girl and you both fall over. Your hand sort of gravitates to a certain area by accident, or because it is a soft surface.
Thanks, manga.
For example.
Thanks, Japan.
Yeah.
It's an example that springs to mind.
On another note, if you and that girl are falling and you choose to put yourself first and put the girl above you, that speaks something about your character.
It does.
Yeah. So, it depends, like, how you react in situations that are particularly stressful or dangerous, along with just everyday life habits, can help to establish your character in a way that words simply cannot do most of the time. Like, you can say somebody's laid back, but if they're standing straight in every room, and they're just like, yep, I'm laid back, and they just talk kind of lazily, that doesn't mean they're laid back, necessarily. Likewise...
Well, that can be one of the signs, but there are more that a lot of people don't.
On the opposite end, if you have somebody laid back and they're just on the ground, they're just like, they're just mumbling, it's a limit, I think, how far you can take this sometimes. At least
there's a lot of little actions that you can have your characters take. Like, they walk around, they're slouching, they got their hands in their pockets. That means they're pretty much disinterested with how the world sees them. Or you have someone like, for example, me, that sort of does some weird, stupid model pose when he's walking. One thumb in the pocket, and just, yeah, I'm a cool guy. Don't worry about it. That's pretty much how I walk. Means you're probably kind of vain and want people to see you in a very positive way.
Inherent sweetness to that kind of walk. You just.
Yeah.
You do the same thing, don't you, Ken?
No, not really.
Really? Oh, damn. But yeah. So it's all about the little things that people don't quite pick up on unless they're really, really thinking about it. And it says a lot more about your characters.
Yeah. It requires self-awareness, maybe a little bit of research as well. But if you...
There's a lot of research that goes into body language that could be very useful if you want to establish this kind of thing.
And establishing it, like, I love that Tokyo Ghoul does this because there's so many moments, like, there's one moment when he's, like, kind of in his own head because he kind of freaked out and went insane and everything. And he sees his younger self, and his younger self was like, and he asks his younger self, "Do you love Mom?" And he's like, "I really do," and he touches his chin. You know, and it adds a lot
another
more power.
thing with that, if you think about it, it actually works on another level because if you want to go really deep, he touches his chin, usually that's a thinking pose, and he probably just did that as a thinking pose for the longest time, that when he started lying, he's lying and he's thinking of what the lie is going to be.
Yeah.
So he touches his chin as he would when he was thinking.
So
there you go.
There's a lot of depth to that. So definitely research this. Definitely try to incorporate this into your work if you can. I mean, don't suddenly start, hey, everybody's now all of a sudden doing weird motions and everything, like halfway into the story.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly expressive with my hands when I talk, but not everyone is like that.
Yeah. Some people tend to gesture and gesticulate wildly when they're speaking for whatever reason. I'm actually doing it right now. I'm holding a drink in one hand and just sort of, my hand is flying around the area in front of me for whatever unexplained reason. And that's the thing. This is an audio podcast. No one can actually see me making these hand motions, but I do it anyway because it's just subconscious.
The ghosts in your flat, perhaps?
Yeah. Or the big bay window that I have that's left to me that opens up onto the green. So I have a great view, by the way.
See, you joke about that, but this house is like 80 years old. The chance of it being haunted is pretty high.
So, basic note, I think to end off this topic, your subconscious doesn't care about the context of where you are or what you're doing. It will react based on what your habits are. It will react based on your deepest inner thoughts. It doesn't necessarily care about the context. Sometimes. Like what Casey said, how his hands are still moving even though he's not video. You know,
this isn't video, and I am entirely alone in my flat, and my hands still do it. Right now, I'm displaying my thumbs as though I don't know.
Even when the character's alone, they can still display those habits.
Yeah, because it's subconscious, because they just do it because they do it.
Yeah. All right, good.
There are also plenty of guides for looking up body language, so even if you don't plan to use it, just definitely give those a browse.
Mm-hmm. Even if you incorporate a small amount, it's still going to be a lot better than not having any.
Yeah. Okay. That was a surprisingly deep topic. I don't know how we got that much out of that, but whatever.
So I suggested that topic. I had things to talk about.
Okay. Hype backlash is the next topic.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, since Kenshi's got something to say about this, Kenshi, do you want to
I don't have anything to say about it.
You better have something to say about it. You said nothing for the previous topic.
Screw you! Alright. So hype backlash is pretty much, okay, you know how, like Game of Thrones, or, well, just take any popular thing, for example, something you haven't seen before. You hear people talking about it, and talking about it, and talking about it forever, and they try to get you in the conversation, but you don't know anything about it, but like, oh man, you should watch that, or why haven't you played that yet, or things like that. And they talk about how great it is, and they hype it up so much that when you actually finally go to take a look for yourself, to get your own opinion on it, it doesn't live up at all to what you were told it would be. That's basically it.
Yeah, so super popular thing, and then the people that haven't seen this super popular thing feel a little bit jaded about it.
Yeah.
Even at the offing, and they're like, fine, I'll go see this thing because everyone won't shut up about it, and then they see it, and they don't like it.
Yeah.
Because they were expecting it to be a lot better than people said it would be. It's the thing about expectations. You get expectations up too much, then you're never going to live up to them. Duke Nukem Forever.
That was a bad one.
That was a baffling one, actually, because it had hype in 1999.
Yeah.
Then it didn't have hype at 2003 when they started releasing stuff like, I don't know, hey, we're doing this and this and this. And then, I think in like 2008, 2009 maybe, some dude said, hey, I play Duke Nukem Forever. It's still a thing, guys. It's still going to come out eventually. And then it didn't have hype. And then Gearbox got it, and it got a little bit of hype, but not because it was good, but because people expected it to be so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were right.
I don't even know what that would be called.
There's a quote on that, actually. It's like, there was no way Duke Nukem Forever would have lived up to its hype. Given that it spent so much time in developmental hell, it eventually became a running gag about development hell and vaporware. So it reached the point where it became more fun to wait for Duke Nukem Forever than actually play in the game. During the 15 years it took for the game to reach our shelves, we've had other games jumping in to fill the void left by Duke Nukem.
And they were better.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. I'm pretty sure Serious Sam was in fact better than Duke Nukem.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes that void is the best thing a game could do, really. Or anything.
Except for the whole, we want to ship a product and make money off it, so that's kind of...
Yeah.
They dropped
Not
the ball a
for
little
the
bit there. Yeah, well...
Let's see.
Yeah.
Ranma, Star Wars, and the last half of Lord of the Rings all fit that series for me.
You're going to have to be more specific on the last half of Lord of the Rings.
Okay, everything after the first movie. I only saw the first movie, and then the series was just ruined by a classmate of mine who would not shut up about it.
Yeah. It was okay. It wasn't terrible. It told the story just fine.
Yeah.
But I can see how hype might ruin it, because everyone wouldn't shut up about Lord of the Rings and couldn't wait for the next one. Matrix pretty much had the same problem, except, the second two were absolutely god-awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched like 15 minutes of the Two Towers, I think is the second movie in the Lord of the Rings. And I just quit. It's one of the few movies I've just stopped watching part of the way through.
I'll be honest, I don't think I could watch any of them again.
I don't. I just watched them waiting for the big-ass battle scenes. That's it.
Did that ever happen?
What?
Big-ass battles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
The end of 2, and about halfway through 3, and the end of 3.
Well, that's good.
Good, to a certain definition. It got a little bit ridiculous with Legolas skateboarding down a set of stairs on a shield while firing arrows.
Right.
And then that weird parkour shit he tried on the elephant thing.
Yeah. That counts as
God,
one,
that
by
sounds
the way.
weird.
Counts as one.
That counts as one, yeah. I like, by the way, Seamus Young's interpretation of that scene in the Darth Droid style comic. Technically, it'd be a DM of the Ring style comic since his was first, but whatever. Where he basically dreamed up that entire sequence as a really cool thing to do, and everyone just said, "No, it's fucking stupid. Let's just cut its legs until it falls over." Yeah. But yeah, hype is a double-edged sword, basically. You can get people so excited for a thing, but if you go too far, then you end up with people thinking either this can't possibly be this good, and they're just going too far with this, or you end up with people thinking it genuinely could be that good, and then it's not. So either way, you're disappointing people.
Yeah, neither is very good.
In fact,
that's outright the worst thing you could do, really.
That's how you feel about Grand Theft Auto.
To apply it to writing, you have to, if you do a really good first chapter, and then you do a really garbage second chapter, yeah, there's expectations.
See, that's a difficult thing with, like, fanfiction as a medium.
Yeah.
Because we do a chapter-by-chapter basis most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
you can open with an amazing first chapter, and then you have to get to the second chapter, which is going to inevitably be slower. It's going to be more setup-based, rather than just impact that the first chapter has to be. So you get to the second chapter, and no matter what you do, there is going to be a drop-off from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to hope that that hype that you had from the first one is going to maintain until you get the story going. It's actually the same way that manga have to operate, because they also go chapter by chapter.
Likewise, just to think of just throwing something off the top of my head, people who make sequels to their own fanfics.
Oh, Sam Jazz,
yes. You can, if you gotta I remember, it would have been a long time since I had read a Fairly English Story, so I started reading his newest thing, and I was like, what? I was just kind of, like, confused.
What was the newest thing?
It was the...
Investigation Team or something?
No, there was the one technically after your story, which wasn't finished.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he called it, but it's like, oh, hey, and we got in the warthog, and I'm like, what, there's a warthog?
Yeah. He was basically establishing things he wanted me to write. That was a poor plan.
So, yeah, if you write a really great fanfiction, and for some reason people want you to write a second one, and by all means you can, I mean, people have done it and it's been successful before.
Mm.
You gotta...
Not often, but it happens, yeah.
You gotta... I guess the main thing is, first of all, don't hand off a sequel to somebody else and try to continue it. Second of all...
Shut up, dude.
Hey, you yourself said that it ended up kind of like you were restricted by what he wanted, and it was just kind of an awkward sort of system.
Yeah.
But
you could have finished that, and it wouldn't have worked out, because something would have gone different than what he wanted.
Because he had his own ideas, and you had your own ideas. It just didn't... Yeah. But definitely, like, if you're going to release the second thing, you kind of have expectations placed upon you. And those expectations, whether they're covered up with this, like, you gotta make sure to keep writing, and don't wait 2 years to start writing the next chapter, because nostalgia happens, and then when it's not the exact same as their nostalgia, or doesn't live up to it,
Not even because nostalgia, because hype.
And hype does
for all the power it has, it is temporary.
Yeah.
There is a reason that marketing campaigns start from announcement until release.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you aren't constantly letting people know that this thing is going to happen,
they won't have hype.
Then they'll forget about it.
That's kind of a thing. You gotta keep writing if you're gonna keep doing a sequel. You gotta just put it out there. And
as far as fanfiction specifically is concerned, there is the problem of content.
Yes.
Because if you're writing a sequel to something, one can assume that the first story went over the canon material, more or less.
Yeah, unless it's a crossover fic that goes into another dimension or something, story has already been told.
Yeah, so either you have to do something entirely original, which will not go over well, or you have to try and recreate the story somehow, which will also not go over well.
Some things can be done with sequels, especially if they're like more of an original type of concept, like Sleeping with the Girls. That has a sequel to it.
It does, and technically not really a sequel, more of a continuation. The story wasn't told so much; it was just given a slightly different context. It's more like book 2 rather than a full-on sequel.
But likewise, like, it's hard to do when you cover all the canon material. But if you're doing, say, Persona 3 and then do Persona 4 fic, with characters crossing over, then...
That's viable.
That's viable.
Yeah.
It's an option.
Seen it done.
I considered doing that for a while. I currently do not want to do that, because I'm... You know, you write Persona for a long enough time, you don't want to write more Persona. Especially not 4. Especially not 4. I don't want to write 4. 4 has been done to death.
I got so sick of 4.
I am currently sick of 4. And that's why I like writing 3, because it's still somewhat refreshing.
Ish.
It's like, I mean, sure, there's a lot of problems of its own, but at the very least, I can deal with the whole Kirijo organization, and there's all this other stuff I can do.
There's more meat to the story.
Yeah.
The problem with 4 was that the characters were entertaining, but they were mostly defined by tics more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were entertaining.
Chie likes steak.
Yeah.
Yosuke likes fun, and hates Chie's cooking. Yukiko can't cook, and she wants to be independent and stuff. Kanji is gay. Rise is a pop star and bouncy. Naoto wants to be a dude. And Teddy was just fucking completely oblivious to the world. That's the characterization for all of the characters, more or less.
I mean, with some minor differences, but yeah. Like, yeah. For Persona 3, though, it's more... Like, Persona 4 is more character-driven, I guess, is kind of the difference, is it's more focused around the characters, whereas Persona 3 you have a bigger story.
That's the thing. 3 had characters, and the characters had some level of depth.
Yeah.
4 is focused on the characters, but that depth that 3 had is gone.
Mm-hmm. So, I've seen so many people write Persona 4, and it just turns into just a rom-com. Like, 99% of the time, it turns into a rom-com, or it turns into just, hey, it's a slice of life thing now. And it's... You start losing the meat of it, rather.
That, or they cross it over with a bunch of other Shin Megami stuff, and it stops making sense.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen several times. It's not pleasant.
I've seen that happen. But,
Trying to whistle but failing.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing, like, you know, I'm not going to do a sequel, but what I will do is I will pull characters like Labris from Persona 4, if I can, from the Persona 4 Arena games and stuff, because I like Labris. You know, I like some of the characters that are introduced in the Arena series. Like, I was considering pulling Sho Minazuki from Ultimax. In fact, I think I am at this point. But you can do that. You can do a slight crossover, but then you do a sequel, and sometimes the sequel material, actually, if you're doing it from game to game, sometimes the second game is not as good as the first game. And then your story, by comparison, will have to work a lot harder to actually maintain a good story.
Yeah, I'd argue that
so very off topic.
From the series works just fine. It's from the same series. It's just from a sequel. And as long as they can be worked in believably, then, yeah, you can do it.
Very off topic.
I forgot what the
So,
topic
I was trying to work us back to the topic.
Hype backlash.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was the topic.
And I was trying to work us back to it.
No, you weren't.
I was trying. I was slowly getting to it. I said that, you know, it can be not as good, you have to work as hard because, you know, hype backlash. I was about to finish that, but then you guys talking and everything and saying, hey, we got off topic.
It's shocking. There's 4 of us. We tend to talk.
That's not a connection, by the way. You have to work harder. You know, hype backlash.
No,
I'm
saying, gosh, you have to choose the setting. Sometimes it's better to not do a sequel because it's not going to be able to live up to the expectations of the first fic.
Fair enough.
Gosh.
Right. On the producer side of things, there's a very delicate balance between releasing too much so people get tired of it, hearing about it all the time, like election year in the U.S. Fuck that.
Yeah.
And releasing too little, because we have all kinds of stimuli in the modern day world, whatever. And there's just so many things to pay attention to. It's easy to dismiss things.
Squirrel.
It's very delicate.
So what?
Yeah, squirrel.
Anyway, yeah, that pretty much covers that topic, I think. Sort of. Like I say, somehow we got distracted. Next topic is parody. Parody.
I don't even... What?
So
I don't know how to do this.
Okay. Mel Brooks said, I think fairly famously, you shouldn't parody something that you hate. No. I think the general idea of what he said was, you should only parody things that you love, that you're passionate about. So, he parodied Star Wars with Spaceballs, for example.
yeah.
And there was a lot of send-ups of Star Wars things. Sorry, I forgot Rick Moranis is the fucking Darth, whatever his name was.
It's great, right?
Yeah.
Can't believe you fell for that. It's the oldest trick in the book. That's good.
Ludicrous speed.
Yeah.
Good joke.
And yeah, so the thing about parody, if you don't care about the thing that you're parodying, then you're not going to get the full value of what you could get from the comedy. So the thing about parody, a lot of it is going to be in-jokes. It's going to be things that people that are in the know, that have seen it, that have experienced it, know about. You're going to be doing, little nods and jokes about that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you hate it, then you're just going to spend the entire thing
Making fun of it.
with not even making fun of it, just kind of
Yeah.
biting mean girl bullshit, complaining about this and that and this and that.
It
Fucking
can
story.
turn to quickly bashing just everything.
Yeah.
Actually,
And
a great
that's-
example of that. I have a guilty pleasure of liking the scary movies, and not actually scary, but the joke ones, parody ones,
Yeah.
superhero movie, disaster movie, that kind of stuff.
See, that's probably a good example of it. Scary movie, yes, they got the idea, they got the joke. The scary movie tropes, the horror, quote-unquote, films, everyone gets the general idea of that, and the people that were making that one probably, they were in on the joke for a lot of it. They knew the whole score.
Yeah, some of the
But then you get...
specific ones, though. For instance, Vampires Suck, which was parodying Twilight and all other vampire stuff. It was pretty much just pure bashing. I mean, I enjoyed it because I hate Twilight, but it didn't follow the same formula as the scary movie, and disaster movie, and horror movie, that kind of stuff. It was different.
It's not, laughing along with it. It's picking on it, even. Might be the best way to phrase it. It's not even making it funny, it's making it mean.
Yeah.
Mean-spirited. And that's not a good approach to comedy, just ever.
Not usually. It's a very specific type of sense of humor.
Ken, want to jump in on this one?
Where exactly would you like me to jump in on this one?
Talk about parody, schmuck.
Parody is parodying things.
I'll pay you to gold brick. Do something.
God damn, what do you want me
I
to
can actually
say?
say that now since we pay you. That's awesome.
No.
Take your time.
It's not my forte. I have a specific set of skills. Okay? This is not one of them yet.
Okay, parodying
Alright.
can include references to stuff that actually happened in the actual thing, the work that you're parodying. So that is an example of the kind of in-joke that you would make. That you have a particular set of skills. You could use that line in a parody of Taken, and you could say, for example, make him a baker. And you could have that whole speech be about him trying to make pies. And he's talking to the pies. I don't fucking know. I'm kind of hungry. Does it show?
A bit.
You didn't eat when we ate?
What?
You didn't eat when I was destroying that Hot Pocket?
I was reading, remember?
Oh, that's right. Well, you fed your thirst for knowledge.
Shut up, Ken. No, I take that back. Talk more, Ken.
You're
on the spot now because you're trying to take piss.
Alright, fine. Let me think. I gotta think. I'm trying to think of how you would parody something in some of the things I'll write. Someone else talk. I'm on the spot here. I don't like...
Okay, since Ken brought it up, parodying, for example, Naruto. First knee-jerk reaction of someone parodying Naruto is going to be taking the piss out of Sasuke.
Or the dub. But that's kind of old, I suppose.
Actually, the dub's kind of okay. Aside from Believe It.
Yeah, that's usually the main issue. Or how Naruto is whiny.
Or the lack of
like
ninja
that
stuff.
He's whiny in both versions, don't we?
Or the lack of actual ninja stuff happening.
Yeah. That's another thing about parody. If you can always go for the low-hanging fruit, but everyone will know it's low-hanging fruit. Like, people that actually care about the thing that you're parodying will know that you're going for the easy jokes, and they will like it less as a result.
Unless that's what they actually want. Like, sometimes I just want a really stupid fic to read.
Yeah. Like, Uninvited Guests is probably one of the better examples of a parody. Especially towards the end, where Sosuke Aizen decides to supplant Ichigo as the hero of the story.
He makes a machine that actually hurts to look at, just to get that power from him.
Yeah, and he makes his Mook Squad the new, 5-man band. So you have Grimjow as the mean but jerk with a heart of gold kind of character. And you have Ulquiorra as the stoic one.
Learning friendship.
Yeah. And then it takes it a step further by bringing in Komamura as a filler villain.
The world gets
to immediately depower the hero because the hero can't be strong enough to actually beat the filler villain in one fight. That is how you do a parody. You take the tropes that people are familiar with, but aren't just the obvious ones, and you turn them around, and you
turn them
make
on their
them
head.
amusing, yes.
You don't have to make TV tropes the fan fiction like that's been called a few times, but that method does work, and it's really funny. But that's not the only method.
That was a good fic, though.
Yeah. I've reread it a few times, actually. I usually skip, like, the first 20 pages or chapters, because they're not terribly interesting compared to the last half.
Yeah.
Stop laughing.
Sorry. I just remember Komamura hanging up his helmet of being... what was it? Dark Lord Wolfington or something like that?
Yeah, that was it.
Maybe he would return one day. No. It's good. Yeah, so... I don't think we actually got anything of value out of that, but generally speaking, don't just go wink and nudge all the time to the audience, going, hey, you remember how this is funny? It's totally funny, right? Because we're being funny. Audience, did you get it? Did you get it? Don't do that.
A good parody can do the unexpected in a way that's really just... Okay, so we're... Spaceballs, taking that as an example.
Okay.
Alright. they're doing this. It's like, what's the they have to go, like, we're going to do something. We're going to give her a nose job and give her back her old nose. And that's their torture method of just, okay, sure. And it's like, just give us your passcode. It's like 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah! It's like, why did they think of that the entire thing, right? It's like, okay, that's funny. But then they say, oh, that's something an idiot would put for his locks on his luggage. And then the president of the Spaceballs comes in, and he's like, what's the password? And like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's like, that's the same lock on my luggage.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Straight up comedy rather than parody, but yes.
Yeah, but it's like comedy and just straight up comedy can fit in a parody, and they work together. It's the purpose of it. You can have jokes with your characters that you invented or parodies of other characters.
It's the premise of the story only as a comedy.
Yeah, because
is a good starting point for a parody.
Because people recognize the characters, and to see, oh, hey, Darth Vader's a small nerd that plays with dolls in this room, like, that's great. That's hilarious. Because you recognize Darth Vader, and you have that preconceived notion of Darth Vader being the big, strong, boding Darth Lord,
You mean foreboding?
Darth Lord, foreboding, yes. So,
he was played by a Welshman, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I actually, like, one of the pastors who came to my church once actually met the guy who played Darth Vader.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I assume you don't mean James Earl Jones.
No, the guy who was the guy in the actual suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Irish. The guy who our pastor who our guest pastor who met him, he was telling a story about it during the sermon.
He was Welsh.
No, our pastor was Irish. He was.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, he lives over there.
I was gonna get mad at you.
No. But
yeah, just the basic idea of the story, only make it a comedy.
Because
do some unexpected things, make it amusing, especially when it comes to the expectations of what you expect from the story.
A parody relies on people knowing who the characters are, what the setting is beforehand, but at the same time, you shouldn't rely on that too heavily. You should use that to help further propel your own parody plot, rather, and your own sort of comedy that you can make with these parody characters.
Here's the thing, you don't have to write a whole parody story to parody something.
Yeah.
You can just throw
the framework is already there.
Yeah. You can just throw in a little something once if you feel like it, just to get a laugh or so.
But you can just, with parodies, it's very free in what you can do. But you don't want to stray and make something completely original because, like, by original I mean just completely divert from the setting. You have to rely on your own sort of parody setting, which is similar and follows closely I just said closelier. I'm too excited about this. I can't talk. Follows closely to the plot of the original. Yeah, when I talk a lot like this and I'm fast.
We should really get to questions.
Questions, yes. All right. I need to stop myself.
Okay, so that's all for parody. We eventually got to a good point. So
sure, let's go with that.
No, we did. It took a while. First question. HughFJ08 asks basically about Japanese words in fanfiction. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't.
That's the basic rule. If it's like a technique or something and you want to do the original Japanese and then translate it for people that don't understand Japanese, do that. That's fine. Don't just have people say baka in the middle of your English story, for fuck's sake.
I do not like that. And don't have them, like, unless that character's specific thing is they like to... Okay, for example, Bebe in Persona 3. Like,
yeah, that was the thing because he was speaking...
He's foreigner.
He's a foreigner who is French.
Yeah.
And it is translated into English for English territories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a confusing thing to work out. But, yeah.
Like, unless you're writing a parody story...
But as far as what you were talking about, I think Mitsuru is the better example because the times when she speaks French in the English version, she was speaking English in the Japanese version. So they changed it. So it was still a foreign language, and it sounds like she is more cultured because she knows French,
Yeah.
whereas she was more cultured because she knows English in the Japanese one.
For example, like, if you're going to use... If you, for some reason, want to have this character say Baka, for some reason, you better be writing a silly parody story. Because
Either
that
a
is the
parody,
only
or
way...
it better be established that character is weeb trash.
Yes. Like, I will only accept it if it's like that. Because if you're doing it in a Japanese setting, Baka will be translated like everything else you're currently translating. Technically. Like, if you're writing an English story. And if you're saying... Okay, so Sensei, he also mentioned Sensei as an option. Sensei can work.
Yeah.
I'm okay
It
with
works as an
titles and
honorific.
suffixes, yeah.
Because Sensei is... It's not just teacher, it's a general term. You can actually call a doctor Sensei.
You can, but I wouldn't in an English story. I would call them
Yeah,
doctor.
but
Yeah.
like I say, I'm just trying to say establish Sensei is a general term.
Yeah,
so
referring to someone as teacher is not a thing that we do in English territories.
Unless you're a very young kid.
I don't mind the honorifics.
Yeah.
The honorifics, I've done...
Honorifics makes sense. It is a good way of establishing relationships a lot of the time.
I've done it in one fic, and my gosh, it's so annoying to have to remember to do all that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In a Japanese setting, it is how they establish relationships. They are not a physical culture. They do not do, like, handshakes and touching very much. A lot of, like, positioning and relationships are established by how you would call someone by their name. So, someone that you are not particularly close to, you would call them by san, which is basically Mr., and you would call them by their last name. If you are pretty close to someone, you might refer to them by their first name. You might refer to them as kun or chan. A teacher, obviously, you would refer to as sensei. If it's someone older than you or younger than you, you might refer to as senpai and kohai, depending. It establishes a lot about how the characters interact.
Mm.
Is it actually
in a culture,
if you're really
in a
close,
culture
you
where it's
drop
not a big
suffixes, or is that not a thing?
that is very, very close.
On the same note, like say, and I know Naruto, they use a lot of Oji-san to talk about, you know.
Yeah, old people,
Yeah.
for example, yeah. Kind of a little bit rude is to call someone like that. And
but
actually, as an addendum to the whole being very, very close if you don't actually use honorifics at all, alternatively, it means you absolutely hate the person and don't deem them worth any respect whatsoever.
Huh. Makes sense.
So, yeah.
Don't use it use it if you know what you're doing, if you for like honorifics and whatnot, but you don't do baka or kawaii. Like don't do that. That's trash. I'm sorry, but that's utter trash. I will the furthest I go on this is the honorifics, and I'll throw in like an ojo-sama because it works out remarkably well with the meaning and the context. Because rich person, heiress. That's the farthest I'll go.
The alternative is calling them princess.
Or mistress, or my lady, and it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, that feels awkward in an English.
It's a lot more awkward, and it's a much more fitting term. But
in English, that's kind of evolved over time to be more sarcastic than it has respectful. So it has a different connotation to it.
Yeah. But if you're using okay, so Hime means princess. If you can throw out a Hime, we have a translation for that.
We do, but once again, it is more disparaging than actually respectful.
So it depends on what you want to get out of it. But if in referring to
occasionally, usually someone calling someone else princess, often it's a parent to a daughter. I think is the kind of connotation we would give it, respect or familiarity in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of normal for a parent to call a daughter princess.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the only connotation where it works.
And, okay, so yeah, that's great. The honorifics are fine. Anarchy, saying big bro, works just as fine.
I'd go with
That
bro
one's-
more than big bro, but
Bro,
yeah.
That one's a
Like,
lot more situational,
Bro,
but
yeah. Bro typically works fine. In fact, I would rather you write bro than anarchy. Gurren Lagann translated to bro. You know, why can't
And
you?
it's one of the best English versions of anything ever, so yes.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to use the whole Japanese Otosan, Okasan.
You don't need... We don't care what 6 words of Japanese you happen to have learned while watching fucking Gurren Lagann or whatever. We don't care.
Yeah. Honorifics
Just
are
write
fine.
it in English.
Honorifics are fine. Certain titles are fine. Like, you know, as long as, Ojo Sama is fine. Sensei is fine.
The ones where we don't have any real translation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's no other option.
borderline, okay.
They're okay. Like, but if you're just gonna throw in random Japanese, if you say baka, I swear, if you say baka in your story and it's not like a comedy parody story,
He
to
will
the
drop
bone,
it.
I will
Yep.
drop that as
Yep.
like a stone. All right,
Yep.
Yeah.
because that
The
irritates
only-
me so much.
The only
You're
time I'm
only
slightly
alienating
understanding
people
about
by
this,
doing that.
the Japanese stuff is when it's a slice of life series and it's very Japanese. It's just, even then, it can still become too much really quickly.
Yeah. You're only alienating people by using Japanese words in your English story. Because, 1, people fucking hate it.
Yeah.
2, people might not understand it. And if they don't understand it, they're not going to read your fucking story, are they? Idiot.
Even if you do explain it, and don't not explain it and then just get huffy when people demand to know, because I've ran across a few authors like that. Pretentious assholes.
Yeah,
I got a bit angry about that. I apologize.
I can tell.
it's fine. It's fine. It's something to be angry about because you need to be able to understand that you're writing the story wherever you can. Keep it English.
You know what really grinds Zero and Casey's gears? Gratuitous Japanese.
Anyway, next question. We have 5 of these, okay? Can we move along?
Quickly.
All right,
We're trying. They're good questions.
Next question is irrational fears.
Yeah.
Bees.
I think. Oh wait, not
Bees are
Yeah,
not
bees.
an irrational fear. How are bees irrational?
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
Because I don't know whether I'm allergic, though that
That
might
doesn't
make
matter.
it borderline.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay. My rational fear is going up to somebody and then saying hi, like if there's somebody I know, and then getting the wrong person. I am scared of that.
That's kind of irrational, yeah.
That kind of frightens me because I'm just like, oh, it's gonna be super awkward. And what if it's the wrong person?
Well, that's irrational fear? I'll give you an irrational fear. Anything outside of my 45-degree line of sight.
Okay.
If I can't see
Alrighty.
it and I know it's around me, I'm going to be kind of paranoid about it.
Okay.
I
Slice
might
it.
have the most specific one is back when I used to ride a quad and the dirt bike and then a quad or whatever. I would constantly overthink how it worked. So like when I went off jumps and I landed and the bike like dipped, I would think the shocks were going to go out. So I just kept overthinking it, and that's kind of translated into everything. Like, oh, I'm pushing this controller button too hard. I'm going to break the button, or it's going to wear out too fast. I need to stop, or something like that. It's a constant nagging sensation that I've just kind of gotten used to. I don't know if that counts as a fear, but unless you're driving.
Alternatively, my irrational fear translates to getting the wrong house when I go to somebody's house, or calling the wrong number. So I'm constantly checking over that all the time.
If I'm
Like,
going to
there's
someone's house I've never been to before, I'll make them stand outside for me when I'm almost there.
if I'm going to somebody's house, I'm just checking my phone. This is the right house? This is the right house? Yes, this is the right house. Is it the right house, though? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question we're not going to do because it's worthwhile to make it a topic. So, epilogues we're going to talk about some other time, Sleeping Meerkat. Thank you for the topic.
Sounds good.
Cliches we have talked about before. A couple times. Sorry, Ethan. You might have to go back and look for that.
Short answer, I like using them. That's it.
Yeah.
Another
They're not a thing to be afraid
Another
of.
short answer, you probably can't help but use them.
Yeah.
All right.
Everything is a cliche at this point. Next question. Sleeping Meerkat. It was a good question, so I don't think it's a joke question. Favorite Disney film?
That's a tough one.
Is it Disney and Pixar or just Disney?
Doesn't matter.
Let's say just Disney, because we can't just have the Avengers in there.
Okay.
He mentioned Treasure Planet. I'm going to have to second that. That was a really good film.
I never saw that.
I've never seen the whole thing.
I've seen it from start to finish. It is really great, actually. Oh, I just remembered. Okay, so to throw some out there, there's the Atlantis movies, Lilo and Stitch.
Atlantis was terrible.
Yeah, it was okay. I liked it as a kid.
I was baffled by the fact that it wasn't a musical.
I'm
pretty sure that was the first one.
I got a new choice. Emperor's New Groove. There, done.
That's a good one.
I don't need any more than that. The Pirates of the Caribbean movies count.
They do.
And then I will put that box in another box, and then I will put that box in a post thing, and then I will send it to myself, and then I will get the box and I will smash it with a hammer.
All right, I was
a good
going to say Mulan because I do like Mulan, the first one. I've never seen any other ones. There's more, but no, Emperor's New Groove. That was an adventure.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, it was pretty special. Mulan's a good shout. Lion King is a good shout.
Can't believe I forgot about Lion King.
I can't say Lion King because my first time seeing it is it's tainted, it's tarnished. Because I think I've said it before. I didn't get to see the whole thing the first time I saw it in theater. For some reason, they took us out of the theater like 30 minutes in, and I cried and cried.
Whoa! Howl's Moving Castle is classified under Walt Disney.
It is?
Yeah.
Doesn't count.
That's odd. Yeah, it's technically a Disney movie now.
I'm not counting it.
Yeah, I'm not counting that either. That's Studio Ghibli.
Yeah. But I'm still going with Emperor's New Groove. It's too good.
I'm going to go with Lion King.
Shit.
Definitely a good gut punch to your childhood. Lots of dying.
Yeah, it was great. I like the fact that Scar was so fucking power hungry, and that as soon as he got the power, he showed he was completely wrong for being a leader, and was rightly snubbed as being the leader.
Yeah. That was nice.
Damn. This is hard. Alright. Gonna have to go with this one. Goofy movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I was too young for the target audience of that, because they were supposed to empathize with Max or Goofy, and I was like 10.
See, I was like 13, but I empathized with Goofy anyway.
Yeah. Most of the movie seems to be from his perspective, if I'm remembering it right. So, yeah, that's the impression you're supposed to get, I suppose.
Yeah. I think the impression that you were supposed to get from that film was, don't be a dick to your parents, arsehole.
Also, 1B in that department. Is Sky High a Disney movie?
I don't know. I think so, yeah.
Is it a Pixar film?
No, I don't think so. No. Google, help me.
Pixar is the animated stuff they do. So, I don't think
I don't know whether Sky High is animated or not. I haven't seen anything about
animated. It is a Disney movie. I'm counting Sky High. Sky High.
It's live action, yeah.
Fair enough. In that sense, Bridge to Terabithia is also a Disney movie, I think.
It is.
I don't want to be sad inside. So.
Yeah, I cried enough watching that movie. I'm not bringing it up.
The girl in that was adorable.
Yeah, and then she drowned.
Yeah.
No, stop it.
All right. So that's our answers, I think.
Yeah, asking us what our favorite certain kind of movie is not a fucking bad question. Why is that a bad question? Why is that a joke question?
I don't
That's
know.
a legit question.
It is. Maybe you
watch everyone ask what our favorite director movie is, like Steven Spielberg or Tarantino.
I don't mind that at all.
I don't think I'd have very many good answers for those questions specifically, but yeah.
Fucking pull up a list. You'll see some you'll love.
The answer is Spaceballs every single time.
Favorite Mel Brooks film?
Ah!
I don't know. I
Don't
keep
do
track
that
of
to me. I like Spaceballs, but it's hard.
Was Airplane Mel Brooks?
Fucking Blazing Saddles is my favorite Mel Brooks movie.
Blazing. Okay,
Blazing Saddles
we're getting
is
off
pretty
topic. I think we're done.
We don't have a topic. We're literally at the end anyway.
We're done. Can we just do
Go for
recommendations?
it. What's your favorite Mel Brooks film?
I don't know. Wait, let me look up movies that he made so I can figure out. Have everything in front of
That's
me.
a good point, because I really don't want my answer to be Dracula Dead and Loving It, but that's the only one I can think of right now.
Robin Hood Men in Tights was really good.
Oh, that was so good. Yes, that's
Young
my that's my
Frankenstein
answer.
was really good.
I'm still riding with Blazing Saddles.
Okay, where's the filmography? I need the filmography.
Blazing Saddles. Young Frankenstein was
History of the World.
fantastic.
History of the World Part 1.
History of the World. That's really good. It's either History of the World or Young Frankenstein.
It's gotta be Robin Hood. That was so good.
It was good,
My God.
but Young Frankenstein is quoted in my house daily. So.
You were about to settle on Dracula Dead and Loving It.
I know. Alright, on to recommendations. Who's got recommendations?
I've got one.
Yeah, I got one as well, kind of.
Like usual,
Right.
It's not
Go
a fanfic
0.
this time. It's not a
Okay,
fanfic.
no. Alright, let's get it out of the way
Okay.
then. 0.
Okay, the title is Terror Infinity. The premise is that there's this group of people, and they get put into these horror movies. And the goal is to survive the movie, and you're following along the plot. And depending on how you do things, like killing enemies or even averting the plot, you get points, which then you can use to buy upgrades for yourself, so you can survive the next movie better. And if you get enough points, you can become free of this whole entire thing. So, for example, like if you do a sort of a hidden side quest by like saving a character that would have died in it, then you could say get Spider-Man abilities. And you could just have those, and you could bring that back with you.
So it's kind of like Gantz then, I guess.
It's kind of like Gantz, but it's like actual horror movies. Like the first movie they go in is Resident Evil 1.
Huh.
And then the next one is Alien.
That's also not a movie.
Resident Evil
What do you
1.
mean, the actual film?
The movie Resident Evil.
It wasn't a scary movie.
Yeah.
Not to me.
It kind of was. It was a monster movie.
It's an easy movie they start off with. Like, this is an
Zombies
easy
are counted as suspenseful, even if they're not really.
And then the next movie they're in is Alien, except this time it's different and they have like 5 aliens they have to fight.
That's better.
So technically it'd be Aliens.
Yeah, it's technically Alien, so it's the same ship in Alien. So it's
Okay.
like, and so like they will ramp up the difficulty on them, and but they have to get out in order to survive. It's a lot like Gantz. I don't know why I said Gantz.
Because that's technically the right pronunciation.
Gantz. It's a lot like that, but it's really enjoyable. And the main character, he's like, you know what? I got a lot of points. I'm gonna give myself freaking vampire regeneration abilities, so I can not die a lot easily, a lot better. You know, it's just like, okay, now you have to fight aliens.
Yeah.
With acid blood and
Acid for blood.
yeah, so there are stats: is intelligence, mental capacity, cell vitality, reaction speed, muscle density, immunization strength.
Okay, don't spoil things and stuff.
No, I'm just reading the stats on the first page of it, on the synopsis thing. And you get sci-fi weapons, magical weapons. Like, you could go to Nightmare at Elm Street, and you need a magical weapon to actually be able to destroy, you know, Freddy Krueger. But here's a link for it.
Yeah.
Or Jason. Or, no, Jason's not...
Nightmare on Elm Street is Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's Freddy Krueger on Nightmare on Elm Street. But, like, you need a magic weapon to get in stories when you're, like, a fantasy-type monster, like, or a sci-fi monster or whatever. It's really cool. I like it.
Okay. Slicer.
The fic I talked about earlier, the Wand of Aru, I give that a recommendation. Just keep in mind Chapter 5 gets very sudden with the Marvel, like outright kidnapped in a Bifrost kind of thing. Yeah. It all makes sense, but it is very sudden, and there's a lot of Greek mythology, or not Greek, Nordic, I think? Thor, Loki.
Norse mythology,
That's
yes.
it, Norse. Okay, that. And he has a female form. If he uses too much magic with his wand, he turns into a girl. It's a temporary thing. Just keep in mind it's temporary if that bothers you. Yeah.
Okay. Ken, have you got one?
I've read nothing worth paying attention to in forever.
Okay, my recommendation is Shinobi by Trade, Mage by Design by Celestial Silhouette. So, basically, literally the end of Naruto. He just beats Sasuke and actually kills him this time, and steals his eye, the good one.
Good.
And then he gets picked up by Anima, and thus goes to Edelus in the fairy tale universe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. None of those names made it. Didn't recognize them.
Yeah, so it's pretty okay. Solid characters and stuff. It's pretty interesting so far. It's only 3 chapters long at 43,000 words, but the plot's going pretty fine so far. It's not in any rush to go in any specific direction. It's not rushing to get to the canon fairy tale stuff. It's just sort of playing around in the setting that it's got so far, which is Edelus. So everyone is their Elseworld counterparts. It's pretty interesting.
That's actually kind of cool.
That's my recommendation, and I'm gonna...
Shouldn't Naruto be horrendously overpowered in that setting, or does he just kind of match up at that point?
It was literally right after the Sasuke fight, so, running on fumes, basically.
Is he missing an arm?
Oh, wait. Which fight? Valley at the end of the first fight in Shippuden, or
the end?
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't think he's missing an arm. I think it was because he wasn't stupid in that fight. So.
Well, I can't suspend my disbelief for that.
I know. Think about it this way. This is basically not Naruto. It is one of those stories. But he has the name, he has the fox and stuff. But he's... Yeah, so it's pretty good. He would be overpowered, but he is obviously tired from, fighting a goddess and a schmuck. So, for now, he is not quite overpowered, but it is getting to the point where he would be.
He has long enough to actually sleep and rest and stuff?
Pretty much. That is the point where he's at now. So, yeah, that's my recommendation for this week, I think. I do have another one in reserve that I'm going to save for next week.
All right.
Alright, so, finally, because this is the first episode of March, we are going to do our shout-outs for our donors for February.
Yeah.
So, top of the list. No, let's start with the bottom. We have some guy who tried to donate $2 but failed. We appreciate the effort, but, if you could sort out whatever problem it was and actually donate, we would appreciate it a lot more. Next is Akane Sasusora, who donated $1.
Yo.
Which is a, repeating donation. He has donated $2 in total so far. Thank you, dude, lady, possibly. I don't know.
Thank you for the dollar.
Thanks.
Much appreciated. Every single donation is much appreciated.
Yeah.
So, next is Jonathan Resden. Sorry, almost. $4. Another monthly donation. He is now at $16 total dollars. Lifetime donations. We very much appreciate that you're still going through with that. It's very nice of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next is Tempest Trooper. $5. Again, another monthly one. We really do appreciate these ones that keep coming back because,
You're doing something right.
Yeah.
It means that we're still entertaining and good enough for that money. So
That's a very nice feeling, though we're not doing anything catastrophically wrong yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, yet. It'll happen, don't worry. Next is Arixum, who has donated $10, and is, therefore, he can get a commission from one of us if he feels like it. If he ever wants to get in touch and ask us for something, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime donations of $50. Thank you, dude. Much appreciated.
Do you know how much your money you're giving us? Seriously.
$50, I just told him. So,
Thank you very much. I
Yay.
love you.
You
And
want a
finally-
kidney or something? You're like, what?
Akito, once again, donated $20. Lifetime donation of $40. Much appreciated, bro.
Thanks.
Especially considering you've already had the guest on the podcast thing.
Yeah.
So, thank you to everybody who donated. It's very much appreciated. I know Akito apparently wanted to donate more but didn't, and felt guilty about it for some reason.
I don't
Dude,
understand why.
You're donating to us. You're being a very good person. I don't think you have to feel guilty for not donating more.
Yeah. I'd be happy with like 10 cents. You're talking a
Yeah.
lot of money.
So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're never not going to say thank you for a donation.
We love you all.
It's so nice. So nice.
Yeah. Okay. So, thank you to everyone who donated once again.
We love you.
Yeah.
I used to give people answers in school for a fraction of that money.
The
For a
fuck?
tutor?
What?
No, I cheated. Or helped
Oh.
cheat.
Fair enough. Well, I guess that does it for this week's episode of the podcast. So, thank you for listening to episode 76, probably, of the Fandom Flux podcast. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do that through the Blogspot page, the comments, or on personal profiles on fanfiction.net, or through your YouTube channel through the comments. Please donate on Patreon. If you feel so inclined, you will get a shout-out just like everyone else did just now. Once again, thank you for listening to episode 76, probably, of the Fandom Flux podcast. Bye now.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See you guys.